How do you have an incredible review meeting with your commission stylist and your commission team? Well, watch this video and I'll show you exactly what to say, and I'll even give you a cheat sheet. Hey, it's Jason Everett from the High Performance Salon Academy, where we give you all the tools you need to run an incredibly successful and profitable salon, spa, or barbershop. Now think about this. If you're trying to run a review meeting for a staff member, my guess is that you want to give them some feedback, right? You're anxious to give them feedback. You're like, here's what you're screwing up, here's what you're doing well, and like, how do we balance it out and how do we figure it out? And one of the biggest problems with a review meeting is people get really weird about reviews, including you as the owner. You walk into that meeting and you're like, what do I say? And we kind of use a basic format sometimes, and I've done this for years and years. We use a basic format where we say, well, hey, what's working and what's not working, and what do we need to correct? Or we talk about it, what do you need to improve? Or what can we upgrade is another way to say that, is what's working, what's not working, and what deserves to be upgraded. And it's a great conversation, and it's a good context. However, that can kind of lead to you dancing around subjects and maybe not voicing all of the things you need to voice in a 90-day window. And by the way, I think you should do a review every 90 days if you have the opportunity to, at least every 6 months, and then we'll talk about a year in just a second. But the idea behind a 90-day review meeting is you really want to review something that we call internally called your critical 10. Your critical 10 are the 10 elements of your job that if those 10 critical things are going really, really well, it means your job is going fantastic. And if those 10 things are not going well, it means that you've got a problem. So what can happen when you just say what's working and what's not, you can overemphasize things that are maybe not so important and underemphasize things that are actually really deeply important for the organization. But if you have the critical 10 and you start looking at what are those critical 10, which by the way, if you want the sheet for today that shows you exactly how to build your critical 10 and what you can do on that 90-day review meeting, do me a favor and say critical 10 and I'll give you the worksheet after this video. But the idea is those critical 10, a lot of those 10 can be cultural fit sort of aspects. They can also be job description fits. They can be, are they creating drama in the salon, or are they actually building other people up? That can be on your critical 10 if that's part of your criteria. This is really important, is that the critical 10 for your salon might be different from the critical 10 at another salon. And most often what people think is the number one part of the critical 10 is just, am I producing? And that's the critical 1, like, am I making you money? But the problem is that what if they're making you money, but they're creating a lot of drama and problems and chaos, and they're resisting and they're fighting, they're arguing with you on things all the time? Well, that leads to a much bigger problem, because even though they're producing income, the rest of it is not falling into line, which is why you need to come up with 10 specific items. And again, if you want the worksheet, just say critical 10 and we'll give you the worksheet, and it'll make a massive amount of difference inside how you have that review meeting with your stylist. So again, get the worksheet. Number 2 is, if you're going to do this 90-day meeting, you also need to do an annual meeting, a 1-year review meeting, where like on their hire date, you should go through and say, hey, how well is this going in 2 directions? Is it going well for you, and is it going well for us? And if the answer is not a resounding yes, you kind of have a problem. I was recently listening to a video that a buddy of mine was doing. His name's Dan Martell, and he was talking about this idea that if you had to let all your staff go, you fired everybody, you sent them on vacation to maybe Thailand or Hawaii or something fun, you sent them on a vacation, but they were all fired. Who would you emphatically make sure that you hired back, and who would you wish well after 30 or 60 days? And if the answer is that any of them wouldn't be emphatically hired back, those people need to be released from your organization and be let go and be allowed to be successful somewhere else. And it really kind of hit me, because it was like, when you really look at the team members that you have, how many salon owners are stuck in this position where they're like, well, I keep that person on because they make me a lot of money. Well, let's just assume that you fired everybody and you had a way to solve it. Would you bring that person back on after knowing what you know now, 1 year in their future? Or maybe you've had somebody on your team for 10 years and this year has been not an awesome year. Well, what you need to do is have a really powerful review meeting that, again, reviews the same things we talked about, those critical 10, but you really emphasize the cultural fit and cultural aspect of that team member and give them areas to improve. Because if they've been on for 10 years and they had 1 bad year, maybe you need to give them some areas to focus on. They can improve their overall performance, they can improve what's going on, because maybe they don't know. Maybe they've slipped into a slump. Maybe they have some weird things going on at home, and you haven't taken the time to sit down with them in those review meetings or in those PDMs every single month. It would make a massive amount of difference. So if you sit down with them, have a review meeting, and talk about those critical 10 again, and you decide in your own mind before you walk in that meeting, would I emphatically hire them back if they were let go? Because if the answer is no, you probably need to part ways. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and it gave you some insight on how to have a 90-day review as well as a 1-year review. And it gives you some just peace of mind the next time you walk into one of those meetings to just make a a better decision, build a better team, and remember, you are the curator of the culture in your community inside your salon, and if it's not the way you want it to be, it's only on you, the owner, to make it right. If you like this video and you want more content like it, do me a favor, check out our Profitable Salon Owner Facebook group if you're not in there yet, or subscribe to our channel on YouTube by giving us a like and hitting the subscription button and ringing the bell so you get notified every time we release new content. Until then, have a great week.